We are live, NBA DFS Window Sports. I'm your host, Tony Jigsaw Control, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Nicky DFS Ghost. You know him as Ghost Gems. You see the article that goes out. Him and Adam do one every single day, was tweeted out about 2 hours ago. Check it out. A lot of good insight. We're going to talk about a lot of that tonight. Only 4 games. Nick, tons of injuries, tons of value, though. See, that's what people got to remember, right? Tons of injuries, but tons of value. So, what's up, buddy? How's your day going?
Everything's good, man. I hope all is well with you. And I don't know if I've seen this much injury news on such a small slate before. Like, this is absolutely wild. And we got a couple teams on the second half of a back-to-back on top of that. New York playing an afternoon game yesterday and now traveling to Cleveland. And it's going to be a wild one. I'm looking forward to it.
It is. It is. It's going to be fun. We had a ball on Friday. We're going to continue again today. As always, sponsored by the Sharp app. Get over to the Sharp app, sharpbets.app, and also download the Sharp app at any store, Google Play, iTunes, you name it. It's available and it's free. So you got to get your one-stop shop right there for all your betting tools. But let's go right into this because I think we're trying to weed our way. Just so everybody knows, we're weeding our way through this, right? So me and Nick are starting something new. We're trying to add some little things to the show here or there. Got a lot of questions about, hey, maybe you went a little too long, maybe you didn't go long enough. We like to hear you guys laugh and talk, which is great. But we also have lives as well. So we got to put our own lineups in. So we went a little late last week. So we're gonna try to kind of get it down a little bit this week. But as always, bring your comments in and we'll try to get them as much as possible. But Nick, only 4 games. So this is easy night. Instead of just jumping around here and there, I mean, I want to ask you, just because obviously the 4 games are right there in front of you. What's the one game that right off your head? Because I was looking at this last night. I was making up the thumbnails and stuff, and who's the picture I'm going to put up there. And I'm like, what's that one game that I think is going to have the most value, most bang for your buck?
Utah Phoenix for me is the most underrated game on the slate, and I really like that game. Even though now we got some news and I wrote that in the article too, where we didn't know who exactly was going to play. Rudy Gobert went down with an injury late yesterday in their game, and now he is ruled out for tonight. We know that Donovan Mitchell was already ruled out because of concussion protocol, and Bojan Bogdanovic is also nursing a knee injury from which he sustained last night as well. Mike Conley ruled out on the second half of a back-to-back. So, look, with Devin Booker and Chris Paul both playing in this one, even though DeAndre Ayton is not active, it still can get out of hand. But Phoenix doesn't have a deep enough rotation not to play every single one of these value plays, right? So even if you're coming off of one of Chris Paul or Devin Booker, which personally I didn't want to make a lineup without Chris Paul before the Mike Conley and the Rudy Gobert news and everything else, that might take me off of Chris Paul. But there's no way I don't have at least 4 players from this game. It's going to be value all over the place.
Jordan Clarkson, 6,700. I mean, it's got to be a guy, right? It's one of right with Mike Conley, no Donovan Mitchell, no Spider out there, right? But how about this guy, Nick? Because you talked about a Phoenix, but this is one of my value plays tonight, and I'm curious. I think he may be on your radar, and if not, please tell me I'm an idiot too. Not wrong with that, but value Cam Johnson at 3,900 for me. I love me some Cam Johnson from Phoenix, and obviously we'll talk the other game with Rudy Gay for 4,200. But you like Cam Johnson night with that value?
Cam Johnson's the top rated value play in my projection model right now. So there's not a lineup that I will make without Cam Johnson in it. The key being no Jay Crowder for the Phoenix Suns. You no longer have to play the game where you do not know which one of these wings between Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and Cam Johnson off the bench is going to be knocking down the 3 and getting some critical minutes down the stretch. That idea goes out the window because Jay Crowder is not active tonight. So it's going to be a ton of Mikal Bridges, a ton of Cam Johnson. And should you be one of the people that are concerned about blowouts or base your lineups based on that, that's not something that we ever recommend. You can't, really play somebody or fade them altogether because of a potential blowout, anything like that. It's professional sports. Anything can happen. Even if you do think that this game gets out of hand with Phoenix now as 11-point favorites in this game since the Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert news came out, Cam Johnson is still going to be on the court if they're up by 20. So this is something where, to me, don't overthink it. Cam Johnson at 3,900 has to be in our lineups tonight.
Yeah, listen, it's a no-brainer. And on the other side, we talked about coming in here. You hear about the Gobert news, right? You hear about Bogdan nursing the injury. Obviously, we talked about the guard play, but Rudy Gay, I think gets some clock tonight. I mean, if you look at him, what he's been able to do over the last couple games when he's got some clock, he's averaging consistent minutes. He's always getting consistent minutes, right? He's 17 to 21 consistently. And he's giving you 17, some nights 25, 26. So 4,200 goes. I think this is one of the things you can get a really solid core and then build in these values here or there from this game.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And you could head to Cleveland to play Darius Garland, or and now Jared Allen's questionable. You could play an Evan Mobley should Jared Allen be ruled out, right? You can head over to the Pelicans game and play Jonas Valanciunas because you have so much value that's available to you in this night game. And that's personally the approach that I'm going to be taking, where, like I said, I'm going to have at least two pieces from each side. Jordan Clarkson becomes an elite target. I absolutely love Rudy Gay here at 4,200 as well. And there's a ton to love about this game overall. So for me, it's going to be the game that I have the most exposure to. And then I'll likely be getting my studs elsewhere. And if there is a stud that I'm playing in this game, it's Chris Paul because of that facilitator role that he plays throughout his entire career, let alone the past seasons that he's been with Phoenix. He's been distributing the ball at an incredible rate. And tonight he's going to be getting guys like Cam Johnson involved and guys like Mikal Bridges involved. So I don't mind Chris Paul as well. But if you rather get your studs in the other games, the Jonas Valanciunas, the SGAs, which we talked about on Friday, and he absolutely went nuts. The Darius Garlands, the Evan Mobleys, or Jared Allens, that's where you can just go to this game for the value. And no matter which route I take, I'm 100% getting four guys from this game.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's funny though. Yeah, a lot of those names you mentioned. So before this, obviously we don't talk, and it's funny, but here, like I'm looking at a core right now. Like when I'm building my lineup, the only guy you didn't mention was RJ. We'll get to that game, but I know they're on a back to back. But Shai and Valanciunas to me, I know Vucevic is everybody's top, and Randall, but I love Valanciunas tonight. I love everything about him and Shai. I think, man, as double banger, and Garland obviously in that Cleveland game, I think is a no brainer. What do you think about RJ Barrett? He's really been coming on, from a DFS level. I know he's not as consistent as we would like him to be, and obviously everybody's mad at Julian Randle because he killed everybody a couple nights ago, and Mr. Robinson showed up for me. But RJ Barrett, what do you think about him tonight?
I do like RJ Barrett tonight, especially if you're looking at somebody like Josh Hart. For me, that is the perfect pivot in tournaments, is to play RJ Barrett over Josh Hart, who's likely going to be one of the highest rostered players on the slate tonight. So you got to be able to get different in your lineup without compromising the ceiling in your lineup. And to get to the top of the leaderboards, it's pivots within usually a couple $100 that you end up looking at somebody that did average, or they did well, just not well enough. And you're looking at that winning lineup and you're saying, who went off? And oftentimes you're going to be able to look at it and say, if I just went this person for this person because they were $100 more, $100 less, I would have won a serious amount of money. And tonight, that scenario can be RJ Barrett over Josh Hart. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Ghost, and not to put you on the spot because I know, but we'll try to do these cores and we'll try to do this beforehand. But I'm going to actually, as your mind's flowing, I'm hearing obviously it's CP3. But if Ghost is making one line, obviously we don't do a lot. We're just talking core players. Who would be those 3 or 4 cores tonight besides CP3 that you would put in your lineup?
I really do like Darius Garland tonight a lot. I think the upside's huge against the Knicks, especially if you are playing an RJ Barrett. I think you need a Cavalier on the other side. Should Jared Allen be ruled out, you have to have one of Garland or Mobley. So I'll kind of put an asterisk next to that first player in my core. That I'll slide in Garland for now. Should Jared Allen be ruled out, I really like me some Evan Mobley tonight. I will be playing the back and forth in the Chicago OKC game between DeMar DeRozan and SGA. That for me is the 1-2 punch that I need with the studs. Considering that game, I'm not going to have all that much value coming from it anyway. I do want some exposure to it. And for me, I want 2 40-point outings going back and forth between the two studs. So I'll be going SGA and DeRozan most likely. And then should Karis LeVert be ruled in for this game, this is going to be another asterisk here on the last combination possible. should Karis LeVert be ruled in and have no restrictions whatsoever, you can come off of the SGA DeRozan combo and go LeVert Valanciunas if you'd like. Like that for me, you end up picking one of the two duos, right? So for me, it's you end up going RJ. Like for me, it's all about those duos. You have it in yours. You have Garland with RJ. For me, it's RJ and Garland or Mobley if Allen's out. Then we have SGA with DeRozan. We have Valanciunas with LeVert should he be ruled in, and then you absolutely pound the lineup with your value plays coming in that last game. Utah at Phoenix. Cam Johnson for me is an absolute lock. And then you're looking at guys like Rudy Gay. And then you got to wait for updates in the model. The one thing that I will point out tonight, this slate will be fully dictated at which centers you play. There is so much depth on it. This is a pretty rare occasion because usually center is not all that loaded. There is a ridiculous amount of good centers tonight to play. Yes. And if you are playing two, which you likely should be, the combination doesn't matter at that point. What matters is the fact that no matter which combo you play, there's not going to be all that many people that have it because there's just so many different ways to go. If you look at these centers, man, you know, as Valanciunas towards, I don't even want to say the top of the pricing grid. He's only 8,300, more than affordable. I love that.
Yes.
Yes. Only 8,300 with no Brandon Ingram and no Sabonis, no Miles Turner on the other side. That's huge, right? And then you have Jared Allen, should he play Evan Mobley's dual position eligible. You can get one of those Cavalier centers that I was discussing before. Hassan Whiteside has cleared the injury report. Good to play, filling in for Rudy Gobert against a very foul-prone JaVale McGee. So This could be a huge game for Hassan Whiteside as well at 6,300. And let's not forget about Goga, who's sitting there at 6,200, putting in absolute work with Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis on the sidelines for these Indiana Pacers right now too. And then you also have the Phoenix combination of JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo, who are filling in for DeAndre Ayton for at least one more game, right? So there is so much to love about the center position tonight that for me, I will 100% be rostering at least two of them. And that for me will make or break your lineup is you need to get the centers right tonight. And that's going to be huge.
That's why I love these little slates, man. Like I know, like it's because you can just zone on specific guys, and we have so much news with the injuries, and guys are going to step up, which is going to be huge in our props for profit. I'm sure that will be when we talk about those guys. We got a couple people checking in. Jimmy saying he's already throwing a CP3, Clarkson, Cam, Gay, Biyombo, SGA, Love, and Whiteside out there. We got Tone checking in, says Paul Temple Lane. I like Temple. He's on my value plays tonight. DeRozan, Whiteside, SGA, Gay, and Biyombo. You see, you see the trend. Dennis checking in. What's up, Dennis? Garland plus Mobley, 40+ points. Dennis also says bet on Hart. And Glide, as always, our buddy Glide says still on DDR if Levine plays. He wants to know. We still on DDR if Levine plays. I don't really think Levine's playing, to be honest with you. We'll see, but I don't think he's. I don't want to be
that guy there that tries to predict injuries, but
right
at the same time, I agree with you 100%. I don't think he plays. Like I hate trying to predict injuries like this, guys. Like I don't want to. Right. I don't want to come off in a bad way, but man, I don't see how he plays in this game. It's OKC. They got Toronto on Wednesday. Toronto's been looking really good as of late. I don't think like that it was a serious knee injury. It was a bad one. I don't foresee him playing. The fact that Vooch popped up on the injury report on top of that too after morning shoot around, it doesn't look good. So no. I don't think that I know it's considered an upgrade that he's questionable. I don't think he plays in this one.
Whenever if it's not a back-to-back game and it allows them an extra day or two to rest, the odds are always in the favor that they're not going to play. Like you said, we don't predict injuries, right? We have no idea. We're going to be watching our updates just like you guys are at 6:55 and figuring out before kickoff. I just keep saying kickoff because the NFL was so ridiculous.
It was a crazy weekend.
Right? That was a crazy weekend. So ridiculous, man. Just what it's history, man. That's what I kept saying. Like I understand the Jay show, but we got.
What a game!
Right?
What a game!
Yes, we're gonna pay homage.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. My goodness,
it will never. That was crazy. That was our Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl, right? You're never going to get another game like that this playoff.
And to think about like the AFC is going to run through Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow
Jesus.
for the next decade. That's
It's-
crazy. Like, oh
is.
my God.
It is, man. And, you know,
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
funny. It's crazy, and again, like, we're just so blessed because again, now we have another infusion of guys that are going to be around for the next 5 to 10 years that we can watch and just watch them explode. So it's great, man. I loved every minute of it.
Hopefully we get to mention Jalen Hurts in that conversation.
Listen, I hope so, man. I do. You know, my man Jalen's even getting Eli Apple now wants to pop off about Jalen. Like, dude, what have you done, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't get these guys, man. It's crazy.
I know you're a Jalen guy too, so it's always nice to talk Philly football when we're together.
Yeah,
I do like Jalen.
Give him a chance. Right, that's all I can say.
Like
give him a chance, man. We got toe checking. It says, "HAA Jimmy, I must made a line just like that."
There we go.
Doug Glide says, "Don't forget about whatever quarterback hands the ball to Henry. He'll be important." So, ain't that the truth? What happened to Tannehill, man? God,
that was
Tone says, "Sorry, did you guys go over Goga?" Yes, you. Ghost just mentioned him. He's going to have a lot of opportunity tonight without Miles Turner and without Sabonis as well.
It's for me. It's I am playing two centers. I don't know. I can't 100% confirm which ones just yet. We still have over an hour and a half to the lock.
Yes,
there's so many options. There are at least 8 centers that I would confidently slide into my lineup tonight.
Yeah, tonight's a double center night, man.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a double center night, and you absolutely need to get those ones right. That'll be huge for us because
we went underdogs.
Many of these guys are going to go off tonight.
When we went underdogs, we were all about the double Ds. Tonight, we're dropping down in size. We're the double Cs tonight. So. Yeah, right? Not wrong with
the dogs
either.
Were barking on Friday. The dog. We almost had the 4-0 dogs are barking.
Yeah,
big bets going. Unfortunately, OKC could not cover. But we nailed the Pistons. We got Portland winning outright as 8 dogs. And we had the Houston Rockets covering against Golden State. And that
was a good night.
So.
You were on. I gotta give it to you, man. You were on fire this weekend too, bro. You were on fire this weekend.
Thank you. It's ever since we did our first show together because you brought the heat. You were on a crazy run, and I was like, I just hope I can keep up. I was like, okay, like. And then in the last 3 days, we've been on absolute fire. So hoping to keep it rolling again tonight.
Well, on that note, let's keep this rolling because I'm curious because again, you know, we're going to try to keep this to a minimum because we want to get some studying done as well. This is a preliminary thought. You can always catch us on Twitter, catch us in a Discord. That's why you got to go sign up. WinDaily.com. Okay, WinDaily.com. It's very easy. And here's the secret, right? You get the 1 week free of gold plus the optimizer. Listen to the word. Radio, right? RADIO. So when you sign up, you hit that word radio, you get 1 free week of everything, projection miles, optimizers, and wait to hear what Ghost has got cooking too as well for everybody. That's going to be pretty interesting. So let me ask you this, Ghost, because there's 2 guys. I love the value plays. I told you, you know, I labeled on the FFVPs, and I love these 2 guys right here. You talked about center. I love Roby for 3,000, and I love Garrett Temple for 3,100. I think both these guys have an opportunity to play maximum minutes, and they've been very productive in the minutes that they have played, right? When you talk about New Orleans, you got Garrett Temple. I mean, listen, the last game, really nothing, but, you know, he's getting minutes. I'm just going by volume. When I do these things, I go by volume and gameplay. No Miles Turner on the other side. No Sabonis on the other side. Right, so he's going to play some minutes tonight. I think that game may get out of hand. We'll see, but I like that number for 3,100. And then Isaiah Roby. We listen again. Another center tonight that we can actually look at. Now, I got a really good James Robinson-Earl pick coming up for you. I got a big banger for everybody. But Isaiah Roby, 20 plus minutes. Right, consistently in double digits over the last 4 games. Going to definitely get more volume tonight in a game where, you know, against Chicago, we just talked about Chicago dealing with injuries themselves. So I like these 2 plays. You got any value plays for us, Nick?
And for me, like Temple was kind of like one of those sleepers for me, right? Because with no Brandon Ingram, and most of the time, you know, we talk about this in Discord all day, where people end up looking at game logs a lot. right? And that could be a massive trap anytime that you end up looking at guys and you're seeing whether they did really well or really poorly, and you're saying, man, like it doesn't look good. And I love your Isaiah Roby call and I love your Garrett Temple call, because both of those things, the game logs are Isaiah Roby was just in the G League and he just got called back, right? Like that for
Check
me
that
is
out.
a sharp individual making a great call on Isaiah Roby, because people are going to say, well, he hasn't played in 3 weeks. But if you just look at the last 3 weeks, you wouldn't have seen that, right? So I do love that call. That is one of the sharpest calls I've heard in quite some time, Tony. That is amazing. I absolutely love that. And then when it comes to Garrett Temple, man, no Brandon Ingram. Like that for me is like they're going to keep, for the most part, at least the way that it runs so far from what the projections are telling us, is that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to continue coming off the bench, right? And then Garrett Temple is going to slide into that 3 spot, or a combination of the 2 and 3 spot, because they have Herbert Jones next to Jonas Valanciunas, and like that for me, and they have Josh Hart usually that plays the 3. Like Garrett Temple is going to be that veteran that could come in, right? So at 3,100, has the production been great as of late? No, exactly to what you alluded to. But you can't look at it from a week-long perspective, a month-long perspective. We got to look at it from a day-to-day perspective and what's being presented with us tonight on that slate. Tonight, no Brandon Ingram. Garrett Temple needs to be considered, no matter what he's been shooting, well, poorly, the minutes, etc. No Brandon Ingram. All cards are on the table for this Pelicans roster, and I do absolutely love both of those calls.
The funny thing is, what you just said was golden, which I think a lot of people have to understand. And it's something I had to understand when I started first playing DFS was you can't always go by past history, right? Because you don't know. You look at games, and maybe if you didn't watch the game or you didn't see the game script, maybe the guy was in foul trouble. Maybe, it was in a bad scheme that night, right? So I just look at minutes, constant volume, and then the injuries. Like you say, no Brandon Ingram opens up the door for him to get maximum minutes tonight for a low value. 3,100 is so cheap, right? And if you get all your other guys and you hit on your cores, and that 3,100, it doesn't hurt you if it doesn't play out, but goddamn, it wins your cash game if it hits. So because low ownership will be on him as well. Jimmy checking in says, could I play Roby and Temple in the same lineup tonight? You know what? Me personally, I'm going to have one lineup with both of them in there, only because they're so low. I'm going to stack up my core with big money guys, and then I'll be able to get those. That's $6,100 between 2 guys. I will do one lineup with both of them. What about you, Ghost? What do you think?
I think just it all depends on the type of contest that you're playing. When it comes to that, Jimmy, like this is something that we talk about a lot, is that you have to look at your lineup and say, what's my path to success and what's my path to failure? Having 2 stone cold minimum guys, no matter who it is, on what night, who they're playing, what the scenario it is, again, it's just, you have to think about it and say, well, the pretty easy answer is that's my path to failure. But if you're playing one of the contests where there's a lot of people in it and you're looking to get different, that's exactly how you do it, because then you could load up on the Garlands, the Valanciunases, the Mobleys, etc. Right? Like you're able to get so much talent around them that, for me, I'm not completely opposed to it. It just depends on the type of contest that you're playing.
Yeah, it's good. Exactly. That's a great point. And here's another great point. This is why I like doing these shows, right? Because we can't prepare for everything, right? There's always going to be little things that maybe somebody brings up. I say, damn, how did he slip by? I was so focused. And I'm weighing tone checks, and he says Herbert Jones gets a lot of minutes for New Orleans, right?
That's a mess for me.
Right? Well, here's the funny thing. So I got to think, I'm looking at myself like, wait a minute, this dude's getting mad volume. He's getting unbelievable. Like, here's another guy. I wouldn't even have looked at Herbert Jones. I was so focused on that bare minimum value play. 4,700 goes. This guy could have a really good night tonight.
Yeah, for me, it's just like this is one of the boys from Discord too. There, so he knows he's messing with me, because I'm not a Herbert Jones fan whatsoever. I absolutely hate his game, but I'll say the same thing about Herbert Jones that I say literally every time someone tries to like poke fun at me to try and play him, and is that his, like, the minutes will always be high because of the condition of, if I'm describing it nicely, I'll say the condition that the Pelicans roster is in right now is that his minutes will continue to be really high. But playing alongside Jonas Valanciunas tonight in a front court where there's no Domantas Sabonis or Miles Turner, like every single paint touch is going to Jonas Valanciunas, right? So that for me is that we're counting on a guy that plays a very similar style game to Josh Hart, minus the offensive touch that Josh Hart has, and we're booking it on peripheral stats and defensive stats for him to really exceed value because his offensive numbers, he averages a little over 7 field goal attempts per game, right? So when we're talking about 7 shots a game, like a ridiculous shooting night would be hitting 5 for 7. Like you're shooting 71% from the field. That's absolutely absurd, right? Like that'd be massive. And that's 10 points, right? So where does he get the other 20 to hit that 6x value to 30? But again, it's something that if you want to take a shot, that is something that everybody makes their own lineups. And this is one that is logical because he's likely going to play 34 to 35 minutes tonight. And if you're not playing Valanciunas, that's where I would play a Josh Hart or a Herbert Jones, because if I'm playing Joe Val, I want everything to funnel through Jonas Valanciunas. I don't want the other guys touching the ball. I want everything going to Valanciunas. Yeah, so that's the one thing that I'll say about Herbert Jones. But yeah, he's messing with me because he knows I hate Herbert.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I'm like, wow, because I wasn't even looking at him because I got Joe Val in my lineups and I'm just sticking with Joe Val, right? I think he is the stud. That's who you look at. But maybe somebody wants to get creative and try to think outside the box. And
absolutely, and like we were both discussing, that there's so many centers on this slate.
Yeah.
If you're going Whiteside with Goga, if you're going Biyombo, if you're going McGee, there's so many good centers that, hey, if you need a power forward instead of a center, you say, well, I'm not playing Valanciunas. Let me get a Josh Hart or a Herbert Jones. That's where it makes sense for me. So
and speaking of that, we got an injury report coming in. So Lauri Markkanen is out tonight for Cleveland, right? So again, so that could be also more minutes for Mobley tonight, right? We don't know what's going to go with Jared Allen, like we mentioned earlier. So should be interesting. Should be very, very interesting. Kemba, Keith checking in, says Kemba is in. Kemba is in. Good old Kemba Walker. So let's get to this segment where we started last week and we had some really good fun with this, and we're gonna have a little more fun tonight because when you get props for profit, that's where it's at. You want to get, and like Go started this a while ago. I jumped on the bandwagon. Love the plus money props. Anytime you get plus money, you're good to go, right? You get all that plus money. You can't beat it. So we had some good props for profit last week. We're gonna get some for this week, and again, this is a great slate for props because there's tons of injuries and there's tons of guys playing extra minutes. So the books didn't pick up on that yet. So it's time to get a really, really good number. So I'm going to start it off with a guy we talked about all night already in SGA over 1.5 threes at plus 135. I think it's a really good number for SGA. Now, is he this unbelievable three-point shooter? No. Okay, but he does have 10. He does have 14. Actually, has 18 in the last 4. Now, the last 2, he's shooting above about 38%, which is probably around league average. And last game, he attempted 3, shoots 3 for 7. So I don't really think it's a stretch against Chicago without a good front court. That I think that right now at this moment that he cannot hit this number. So goes for plus 135. I'm going to throw some cash on that. You got any props for us tonight?
I do like it. I do like that. That's intriguing. That is intriguing. I'm going to confirm one of mine. See, this is the benefit that shows that you guys get to see us do this live in action.
Yes, this is what we do, right? There's no shame in our game. This is what we do. We're doing exactly what you do. So we can always help each other out as well.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I might, you and I, you're the one that actually put me on this, and we both had similar thoughts in the NBA playoffs when we were saying, what is the edge of having a points prop when that player strictly shoots threes? A guy like Duncan Robinson, you know what I mean? Like you got to find another prop. You got to move it up and down to see what exactly that's going for. And right now I am finding a Cam Johnson points prop that is simply too low. And I think I'm going to grab that. The model says yes. I'm going to be taking Cam Johnson to score 15 plus. Let me confirm that on FanDuel. Should be on FanDuel Sportsbook for those that are in a legal betting state.
Yeah, baby.
Should be plus money. Going to confirm that.
Get that Cam Johnson play.
You
gotta
have
get.
to. Yeah, we got to go with one of our boys. We've been hyping him up
Yes.
too. Like, I got to go. Like, I have to. What would be the show without a Cam Johnson prop at this point for me? Like, I've been talking about him for so long. I got to put Cam Johnson in there. So Cam Johnson to score 15 plus is going to be my bet. I see it at plus 105 if you're able to grab that. I do like it. Cam Johnson to score 15 plus.
Look at that. Cam Johnson scored 15 plus. Over 15 plus, right?
Hopefully it's just plus 5 threes and we call it a day. But
man, I bet he hits a couple at least. I can tell
absolutely.
You that.
There's heavy juice coming on the threes prop over 2.5 right now. So that was the first one that I checked. See what his threes prop is coming out. It hasn't moved up to 3.5, but there's heavy juice on the 2.5. So Vegas is saying he's going to hit at least 3. He could give us 6 points elsewhere on the court.
I love it. I love it. Now we got our family checking in. Alvin checking in says Josh Hart, PRA 26.5 over or under, and Fournier 16.5. That Fournier number is interesting. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big Fournier guy, man. That's a lot of trust in Evan.
So I said this in Discord too. I was like, I don't bet unders ever in my life, but with the project that we've been working on here, it constantly tells me to bet under on Evan Fournier's points prop, and it's gone 4-0.
Whoa,
so
look at that.
That's where Evan Fournier is responsible for me betting unders now, and right now I have him at it's points, rebounds, and assists 16.5. I have it under, but there's a bigger edge on the points prop under. So rather than taking the under on his PRA, I would take the under on his points. And Josh Hart would be what is it at? 26.5?
26.5.
I don't know about you, Tony, but for me, that's a no bet. I have it at 26.53. So that is really right on the number for me. I'm going to stay away from that one. But
that number's high, man. That number's high.
I'm just all in on Jonas Valanciunas. Like,
Valanciunas. What's Valanciunas' number? He see, that's the thing. J-Val's got no plus money. I can tell you that right now. 0.
Yeah, we got to boost that up to a ridiculous number for it to really pay off.
Exactly.
But you know what I will check? I'm getting checked. I like these little combo bets.
Yes.
We could find them.
So check this one for me while you're looking, because this is one I kind of dug a little bit. It's a Torrey Craig prop. This is a Torrey Craig over 1.5 at plus 140, then over 10.5 points at plus 115. Another guy who, to me, is going to get some volume tonight. We talked about that matchup, right? We talked about it. Now I understand Duarte. It's all probably going to go around Karis LeVert, right? Is Karis LeVert in? Is he out? If he's out, I think this could be a really good number, and especially even if he's in and plays limited minutes. So I think that's something we got to kind of gauge. But I kind of like
the value is there, and I guarantee you those numbers will not be there if Karis LeVert ends up getting ruled out.
Well, that's the thing. Again,
we got to understand the risk that we're taking there, right? So like, it's definitely worth it, both at plus money, considering the fact that we have no indication if LeVert is going to be playing in this one. So
no. So keep it. So if you're if you're watching this on replay, keep that in mind. This could be something that, these numbers are big plus money numbers if Karis LeVert does not play. So keep an eye on that, because those, that'll come out really, really, really soon. Ivan says, do you like Garland over 17.5 points? And just as Ghost looks at this, I want to let everybody know. Right now, this is the kind of stuff you get at Win Daily. We're going this live. He's got this unbelievable projection model that he's doing it from scratch. He's giving you this insight that we're going to have every single day on the site, so you can be able to check it above your DFS values and look at the over and unders and see which way you're going to gauge. So Darius Garland, that number seems kind of low to me, Ghost. I don't know.
That's way too low. That's a big edge. If you have it at 17.5, then I would take the over on that.
I mean, I don't think you're not going to get plus money. That's probably like a minus 185 or 2.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I don't
number
see
can't be.
that.
Yeah,
You can let us know what book that's on. I would love to absolutely hammer that prop. So
Ivan, let us know what
let
kind
me
of money
know
differential you're getting on that, because
let
that's a
me
good
know
one.
what book that's on too, because most of his
Jeez.
points props, I see them at, I see like I got him at 20.5 right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. That's 17 and a
It's
half.
on Prize Picks discounted from 20.5. Then yes, absolutely take the
Oh, it's
over.
on Prize Picks.
I like the over on 20.5, let alone at 17.5. So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, I'm going over 20 and a half too.
yeah,
This is a
I like
Garland
that.
night. That's why he's in my core,
I like
100%.
it.
You have another, you have another one for us? Go something
So
that you're
this
looking
one
at?
is the line actually just moved. It was
Ooh.
at even money, so plus 100. Now it's minus 105. We like the plus money ones. If you
Okay,
can grab
minus
it at minus
105 is not
105,
bad.
I'm okay with that. I want some exposure to Jonas Valanciunas on the book, and since all of his props are heavy juice, I'm gonna go with the combo bet here and say Jonas Valanciunas to double, and the Pelicans win.
Ooh.
So I like these little combo bets with a lot of the NBA big men. A lot of the time is that their points prop or their rebounds prop, usually it's one or the other, is heavily juiced, meaning that you got to pay a lot to make a decent return. That's not what Tony and I are looking for. We're looking for plus money props. We bet $1, we at least get $1 profit back, if not more, right? So we want that number to be plus 100 and above. So Jonas Valanciunas has heavy juice on all of his props. I think the Pelicans end up pulling out this win. I'm going to go Jonas Valanciunas to double. I have him well above that in terms of rebounds. The points don't worry me at all. I have him well above that in the rebounds with no Miles Turner, no Sabonis. You should be able to clean up the glass. And the Pelicans should pull off this W with the no Malcolm Brogdon on top of that for the Pacers. If Karis LeVert ends up getting ruled out, this number will not be there. I will be taking Jonas Valanciunas to double and the Pelicans to win.
I love it. This is what we get. This is live. And when we do this, I always throw these zingers out there. These big time bonuses. I've been 1 for 1, or I 1 for 2. I hit on the Mitchell Robinson. I didn't hit on Al Horford. I should have known. He's a stiff. Always been a stiff. Why did I bet on him?
He was listening to the show and he saw the Philly attire in the background. He said, "Not today." No,
I'm telling you, man. He killed me. But how about this one? This is, and again, completely based on the fact that maybe Vooch right now is questionable. Even if he plays a bone bruise on a knee, still isn't. It hurts. Okay, it makes you a little less mobile. We'll see how he plays. But how about we go to the center market and we go James Earl-Robinson with a double for plus 1,300. Now, if you look at him, and this is the thing, and again, you got to look, he's hit this number already just one game ago against the Charlotte Hornets when he had 12 and 11. Okay, so, and after that, he's always been rebounds or points. 9 boards the other night against San Antonio, but only 3 points. Then he had 9 points, but only 4 boards. Then he had 11 rebounds, but only 4 points. Ghost, tell me this is the night. Plus 1,300, another double for my man who's got the 2 names, James Robinson-Earl. I like to call him Earl Robinson because what was the guy from who am I thinking of? The guy in Field of Dreams, the guy who had all the Yellow Page commercial, James Earl Jones, right? So every time I see James Earl, I have James Earl Robinson instead of Robinson Earl because I always think of James Earl Jones. But James Robinson Earl, man, double 1,300. I'm gonna change that
just for those odds. That's wild.
It's one of those shot in the dark bets, right? I mean, you throw a couple dollars on it, you never know, man.
Those odds are crazy, man. And you know what? This is with Vooch in because I can't project him out just yet. He's still questionable, but
right, he's still questionable.
With Vooch in, I don't have him for a double, but I will say I have him a lot closer than I thought. I'll say it that way.
Oh, I like that. I like that. You get me excited.
I have him a lot closer than what I thought it would be. I was gonna open it up and I had him for like 4 points and 5 rebounds or something, and I was like, okay, at plus 1,300 it makes sense. Yeah. I have him way closer to a double than what I thought it would be. So
we shall see.
You never know. 1,300. If 1,300 ruled out,
right?
No Derek Favors either off the bench, so they're going to be going either Mike Muscala or they just called up Isaiah Roby. So for me, it should be Roby coming off the bench, but
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like we got to keep an eye on that. So
He's gonna get volume.
he's going to get a ton of minutes. He's going to get a ton of minutes. And this is a game that they can win outright.
Yeah,
they can win this game outright.
And they definitely can. They definitely can. Now I know. So Jay's is checking in because I know he wants to get all over these props, right? So he's going to try to catch me. Right? He's going to try to catch me now, right? So Jace has got Randall. He's going back to Randall. Why are you going back to Randall? He killed you the other night. You're going to sweat this one out again, man. You're crazy. I love it. Over 8.5. He's also got Randall. Oh, well, he's going double banger on Randall tonight. Over 4.5 assists. SGA over 4.5 rebounds. Jay, if you tie that up with the over 1.5 plus 3 plus 135 for the over the 1.5 threes, man, you got a nice little double banger right there. You got Goga over 7.5 rebounds, and our boy Cam Johnson at over 4.5 rebounds. So if you get Ghost already got him over at 15.5 points, so you put that together, comboed out with 4.5 rebounds, man. Adam, nice little prop bet. Adam checking in. Double Randall. What can go wrong? I love it, man. I love it. Ghost, you got any more before we get out of here?
WinDailySports.com/chat. You guys can find the other ones in our Discord, or I've also been posting a lot of them on Twitter as well. Follow me at DFS_Ghost, and they will be on Twitter. And you will see that I'm fully accountable. I'll post when it wins. I'll post when it loses.
Full transparency, man. It's the only way to go. And if you want to get this information right there, you get 1 week of Win Daily Gold plus the optimizer. And you're going to get what Ghost is talking about, which is state of the art. You not want to get it. Remember that code word radio, RADIO. I am your advertisement. Yes, that is correct. Jason always writes, I'm on mobile with no headset, so can only watch with no voice. I'm sure Ghost is hating these bets. As always, listen, everybody checking in. We appreciate it. Go get us at Win Daily Sports on every single social format. It's easy. At Win Daily Sports, we keep it easy for you. So wherever you go, you type it in, you'll get it. YouTube, that's where you're going to find us. All kinds of new content coming out. Also, check our Twitter as always. There's all new articles. We have Matt just posted a NASCAR article today. As always, Ghost and Adam with their bets for, well, not bets, but their plays for tonight. Then you also got the PGA show coming up tomorrow night for the Farmers Insurance Open. So you don't want to miss that as well. So everybody, like I always say, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you right back here for a big game slate. And by the way, triple box tomorrow night with me, Ghost, and Adam going triple box for the big slate. You don't want to miss it. Everybody, have a great night.